Hello, everybody. Hi, Don. Hi, Don.
Oh, there we go. Unmute. Ah, there I am.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, good. I can hear you too. Hi.
I guess
How
we'll
things
just.
going, Don?
Good, good.
Are you back in the area or what?
Now we're in Maine still until next probably Thursday, Wednesday or Thursday, and then we'll be back for good. So
Okay.
I'll be available for lots of stuff.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
Um, was it your sister? Open Heart?
yeah, yep.
She
Iowa was
okay?
lots of corn. Yeah, she's doing great. She actually, yeah.
Good. Glad to hear it.
So now we're just waiting for everybody else, I guess, or
Yeah, I think so.
something's going on. Yeah, no, I actually got stuck in DC overnight on the way back. They canceled a flight on me when I landed in DC.
Really?
I got a hotel room and I spent the day wandering around the Smithsonian Institution.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yep. Yeah, no, it was real good. It was a, unexpected mini vacation.
Nice. Is that where did you go? Is it the Air and Space?
I went to Air and Space, the Native American Museum, the gallery, the National Art Gallery, and then the regular. I didn't go into the big Smithsonian, with all the. We were there a year ago. Went into the. I forget what it's called, the regular museum.
Yeah.
But
Um, I'm getting communication from Jean,
uh,
who says that she can hear us, but
oh,
that they're trying to get their audio fixed, I guess, on their end.
okay, she can hear us, so please shut up. Is that what she's saying?
Could be. No dirty jokes here.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. Uh, no, they can see us too. Uh, but hi. Fun with Zoom, you know?
Yep.
Okay, hello. Can they hear us
All right,
now?
Dennis, can you hear me now?
I can hear you. I can't see anything
That's because
except.
the camera's still turned off.
Oh, okay. All right.
That's probably just as well. Just kidding.
Ah, we can see you.
All right, so we can hear you?
Yes.
Sorry.
Yeah, and we can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
I can hear you. Yeah. Hi, Gene. How are you?
Good, good. Sorry for the delay here, folks.
No worries.
It's okay.
We're-
No
I
big
think
deal.
we're squared away now. So welcome to the Council on Aging meeting. I call the meeting to order and take our roll call. Dennis, are you here?
I'm here.
Dawn,
I'm here.
Fred,
Yes.
Sarah. Lena, here. Yvette, here. Pat is absent. Tricia?
Okay.
Oh. Yeah, okay. I do not see any members of the public present, nor do I see any on Zoom. Okay. So we're gonna speed right along to our guest speaker, who is our brand new Senior Services Director. So welcome, Lisa.
Thank you very much.
So thought it was apt to have you come in and meet everybody and tell us a little bit about yourself and what you're thinking right now after having been on the job for almost a month.
Just for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Started on the 8th. So, you want me to stand so that I can see everyone? Or
It's up to you.
You have your back to them.
then I'll have my back to you.
All
All right, so I'll sit
possibly
here
go
and
over.
occasionally I'll go like this.
You're fine.
And,
You're fine.
yeah, very good. Thank you for having me here. I am thrilled to be here in Hammond. It feels really good. And I'm really excited and find out what you are interested in doing and what you see as areas to work on and what things are going well, what things need to be tweaked a little bit. I have been, without telling you my entire life story, so the next sentence will make you a little nervous. I have been interested in working with older adults since I was about 16. I had thought that I wanted to be a therapist, and we had a hotline in our town. So we learned telephone crisis counseling. You could pick up that phone and have anything from a prank call to somebody who was suicidal on the line. And so we went through this extensive training. I became a trainer there, blah, blah, blah. But if you were on the afternoon shift, you made telephone reassurance calls to older adults in the community. And
Which community?
pardon me?
Which community?
Greenwich Connect.
Okay.
What struck me about those calls was that these were interesting, intelligent, engaging human beings. And if it weren't for the fact that they were on this list, nobody was really in their world. I didn't know them, they didn't know me, and it seemed like there was something wrong with, society as a whole, that people were so kind of out on the fringe. So that's what made me interested initially in working with older adults. I'm also, again, promising not to tell you my whole life story, the youngest of my family of 4 children. My mother was the youngest of 8. My father was the second from the youngest of 8. So I have a lot of family who are older than me. So all my life I've been around who were of various ages. And I'm comfortable with it. And I appreciate, I appreciate people for who they are as human beings and not so much about how old they are. That said, when I went off to college, I thought that I wanted to continue with psychology and be a therapist, so I majored in psychology, but I created my own minors at the time in both women's studies and gerontology. Because while there was a class here and a class there, there were no tracks for either of those things. I was lucky enough to have the person who taught the first gerontology class I worked in, or that I went to, was actually the Mass Council on Aging, there. So that was really interesting to get to meet him at the get-go. I didn't really understand what that meant in terms of what interesting. So I studied both of those areas, and ended up, I graduated from the University of Vermont, moved from Vermont down to the Boston area, and my first couple of jobs were working with older adults. So one was with a for-profit organization that provides homemakers and home health aides for folks. We hired and trained, homemakers and home health aides, and we went out and visited the folks that they were visiting, that they were working for. My two areas were Concord and Maynard and Littleton, that area, and South Boston and Dorchester. About as disparate as they could be, and it was very interesting to kind of see people in these different contexts and with different services and things. That also kind of really sort of cement my interest. So I went from doing that and to providing supportive services. I was hired to be the only staff person for a brand new program in Jamaica Plain for volunteers to work with older adults in their home. We got funded by an organization you would all know, and I'll come back to provide supportive service for folks. And again, when we didn't have that many volunteers, so I was one of the people. And on all of these instances, what I've learned was it kind of, though they didn't really talk about ageism at the time, there's a certain expectation that anybody over a certain age was like feeble or, had lost their memory or, couldn't get around or whatever. And that was true for some people, but it wasn't true for everybody, certainly. And I'm really aware of ageism before they were kind of. I went off, I was working with folks. I decided I wanted to pursue the counseling degree. I got a master's degree in counseling psychology. And my two interest areas were working with older adults and working with women. I got to do that both by working at the Stone Center at Wellesley College, which was a place of women's psychological development. They had come up with a theory about that. And then also working in another social service. I think, like I said, one of the really important things for me that I kind of learned and that I still hear all the time is how people judge older adults and what a disservice that is to the population. I've met some, not surprising to any of you, fascinating, completely competent, completely active, and everything along the spectrum. So I stepped away from that for a while. I became a full-time mom for some time. And when I went back to work, I decided that I wanted to go back to working with older adults. So I had done a number of different things in the interim. I had been a counselor for the Youth and Family Service in Westboro, but eventually decided that this was the area I wanted to get back into, and I realized that I'd been away from it for a long time, and that it has completely changed. There's so many organizations. The size of the older population is huge now because of the boomers, and the unique differences in the different, if you go by the decades, of each age group and the time that they grew up in, stuff like that. So all of this stuff has been an interest for me, and that's kind of why I really have always wanted to be in this area. This position, I was like, oh my God, why? And I'm very, very happy. What I am I'm still in my early time here, I feel like I'm still absorbing a lot, learning from individuals and groups and the staff and the town, to how people interact with each other, where are older adults in the hierarchy of how money gets spent in the community, facility, all of those things, and just sort of absorbing all of the bunch of things about how Amherst. I'm fortunate enough to be living to have subletted a place in North Amherst, and I would say at least 50% of the population are older adults. So that, you know, was kind of an interesting, that's sort of an interesting piece of it too. So I'm absorbed in all things for adults. Technically, I'm also an older adult at this point. So depending on where you draw the line, I would say I am in. So I'm thrilled to be here. I'm really excited. I felt like when I spoke to all the different groups in the interviews, people were interested in doing something substantial with the senior center, or senior services, council on aging, in terms of what they offered. And I'm excited to be here and find out what that looks like specifically to you, what the needs are, what the wants are, what's working, what's not working. Learn from the friends and see what they support and how that works, and sort of see what we can do to, you know, keep what is going well, phase out what is not going well, and add what is missing or could complement what's currently happening. So that's sort of, you know, there's a lot more detail, but I already give a lot of detail. I think I tend to be a little bit long-winded, as you may be able to tell. So that's generally me. I'm happy to answer any specific questions. That's kind of the broad brush.
Yeah, so one of the things, one thing I have. You say that, you said Amherst.
Oh, yes.
It's hard to break you, because I
I
did
know.
that.
I'm meant to mend on
Right.
that right now. I'm trying. I don't get there. And
So
Northampton is also Northampton, right? So, yeah, I'm trying.
I know you are.
There you go.
Yes, this school does.
Yes.
But it's, actually, my school, this is for me. Amherst. Yeah.
Well, I kind of like that. I'm glad that there may be moments when I am not, okay, but in general, for right now, so far, I'm interested in hearing what people have to say. Yeah, we'll work with it, right?
Do you have a vision for us? Not to put you on the spot, but.
Well, you know, so there's the physical infrastructure piece. You know, some people feel like the Bangs feels like it's working. It's a good spot. Certainly location-wise, you kind of can't beat that it's right downtown. I've heard other people talk about how it's sort of dirty and dark and not so exciting. So I guess whether or not the town and the council and folks are interested in moving to a different place is probably not a short-term conversation, but maybe something to kind of get in the planning if that is needed. Again, I think the location of it is fantastic. And I am the lounge area at the center, while I think it sounds like for some people, it may keep them away. I also think it offers a service to another group of people who need the socialization, and it provides that. and the accessibility of the building. I also think that the other departments that we're with are well matched to us, and I'd like to see as much interdepartmental. So the more interdepartmental work I definitely want to do a lot of intergenerational programming because I think it benefits everybody. I'd like to do some specific educational stuff around ageism, both for all of us who are over a certain age and for the population in general, and for people of all ages, because everybody has to deal with something. But ageism has a big negative impact on the lives of adults. And I think it's something that has to be looked at. I think often, I'm not saying this about Amherst, but often older adult population is kind of not thought of. But they are a decent percentage of the population, and that's important. And they vote, and that's and they pay property tax. Yeah. So so all that.
I do want to say, if you're finished, that's okay. So I really shouldn't participate in the meeting, I'm Jennifer.
Yeah.
So the council has engaged on this. I'm just going to do. It's, so I just happened this morning with another council. 20 our under 18 population. 1,000, our senior population increased by 17. We're the fastest growing. Yes. I think there's a feeling on the council that this is really a huge part of our community. And it's only growing.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of people like my husband and I that we have met, and I think Jennifer, you and your husband, you know, we're retiring and
Right.
moving to
You
the
came here.
community.
Right.
Cambridge.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that, I mean, we have an aging population in the U.S. You know, there's fewer people having young children, and there are a lot of big generations of kids that make up the older adult group, and they're all different. You know, we still have greatest generation people, the silent generation people, the baby boomers, and you know, and all of them had different cultures that they grew up in. But you also have people like me whose brother was 13 years older, and my parents were much older than anybody else's parents. You know, I mean, and my family was, the rest of the family was way older than them, that have been in contact with people of all ages. I think I just said this out loud a minute ago, but just in case I did, I was contacted by somebody from UMass last week who would like to do something with their and do some kind of a project with us. So I'm excited about that, and I'm excited to also hear both what they are thinking of, what's realistic for us, but any input folks have. I would love to do something. Is anybody aware of the Story Project? It's a collection of interviews, basically, that I think, I don't know if this is still happening, we're being kept at the National Archives.
Yes.
And they're interviews with people of all ages, kind of getting their, you know, their life story. And they're being preserved in videos and recordings. And I think, you know, doing something like that, finding ways to sort of connect each other through stories, is something that is open. So I'm kind of looking at different things, looking at what sort of grants we might want to apply for. I'm going next month, actually, I guess later this month, to the MCOA conference down on Cape Cod. wanted to, the what date? Oh, sorry, the Massachusetts Council on Aging. So they, yeah, so, but they do a conference, they do two conferences. They do kind of a half-year, small conference, and then they do a big conference, which is typically down on Cape Cod. They have it at the same hotel every year. Literally, here's the building, here's the sand, here's the water, and it's a great spot, big rooms. It's a really good conference. Like I said, I started going before I was even working back with older adults as a way to kind of see what was happening. And very educational. I would like to be able to, so I am going this year. I had previously registered for my last job. I spoke to Paul about it, and he supported it, so I will be going. I would like also be able to include other staff as the time goes on, because I think a lot of them for everybody in those meetings, both in terms of the networking that you can do, but just the ideas and the programs and the problem solving and, you know, pondering.
That's great professional development,
Yeah.
changing ideas, what's the latest
Exactly.
trends, how we handle that.
And in addition to that, I've been pretty active, I pulled back in the last couple of years with a bunch of other organizations, working with older adults. So, Life Planning Network, which sounds like it's mostly, I joined because I was a life coach and working with older adults, but everybody pretty much in the Life Planning Network was themselves over a certain age. Just by coincidence, I think maybe they were, you know, second act couriers or something. And kind of an amazing group of one of the members had put together a video on the LGBTQ, older LGBT, just off. But there was another organization where somebody I met from there who just passed the age, dynamo, sharp as a tack, and she started a global organization for people working with older adults, not just working with older adults, but who cared about issues with older adults and did a lot of intergenerational work as well. That's where she and I kind of bonded. I still attend those on Zoom. So there's the co-founder is from Phoenix. There's from like every continent, truly, doing and facing some similar issues and some very different issues. But it's interesting to hear the kind of global network, and that's called the Pass It On Network. And so they encourage not just older people in this field to join, but people of all ages, so that they can whole generativity idea passing. So there's a lot of, this is an exciting time for older adults. A lot of work being done on ages in which I might personally do a program on or here. There's a lot going on. So I think I'm excited to see what you all want, what the needs and interests of campers, what you all see as the issues we might want to lobby, might not be the right word, but try to move forward. That's probably more than.
So it's a nice segue.
Yeah.
You'll find that there'll be no shortage of issues,
Okay, yes.
or ideas, or suggestions, or things that we
That's
want to
good.
tackle. I'll just forewarn you of that.
So let's, before we delve into the senior survey, which I think is gonna be a great launch pad for you, I'm just curious, and I would, I guess, maybe look more to Lucas, since you're still trying to get your feet underneath you for updates and a planned part of our meeting, like what's going on over there, what's new, are you seeing anything, what do you, foresee in the future, issues or problems or things you need help with, just so we have a sense of things, so whoever wants to offer us updates, we're all ears.
Yeah, I'll let you go first, since I
I got you. Yeah, getting ready to, next newsletter is in production. Well, sort of in the ramp up period, I think Lisa, you were saying we've been doing a lot of sort of trying to understand what exists currently and, how's it functioning, a lot of, evaluation, which obviously takes a lot of time because you have to look at so many different factors. It's not just, attendance, but it's also like, are the individuals who are doing it, even if the number's small, getting benefit from it? And then,
Sorry, I'm gonna interrupt you.
yeah, go ahead.
I think of
Shoot.
question, how are you, so you're evaluating the program? Is that what I'm hearing you say?
I would say not in a, formal way, but in a paying attention to what the feedback is, paying attention to what are the issues, if like in terms of the space, is the space working to do this kind of program, and how is the attendance, is it falling off, is it getting bigger, is it about the same? Kind of looking at those kinds of things, but in a observational way, not in nuts and bolts, like how we say.
Or are you speaking directly with participants, or you're just making observations on how many?
I would say it's a little bit of both, but it is, to me, this is kind of observational research. Like, it's not sort of, there's interesting feedback, but not really data per se.
Okay,
So,
okay.
Yeah, not exactly a program evaluation, as much as just, Lisa's learning about all the different offerings, and part of that, inevitably that conversation leads to, what do people think of it? How many
Yeah.
people are going
Yeah.
to it? I think one thing Lisa was very keenly aware at the beginning was, we do have some serious space questions that are, a constant problem at all times, and part of that is looking at the spaces and saying, are we using the spaces the best they can be used? And, at the end of the day, we have to make the choice that benefits the most for the largest part of our population.
programming, where are we with the numbers? Do they, are these the courses that folks here really want? How do people feel about the space? I, picked up some feedback from people about how they feel about the lounge area and building in general and stuff like that. So, and also learning about the staff. What are their strengths and what are their job descriptions? This configuration of staff is different from what I was used to previously. So in terms of who does what, so kind of looking at who is doing it, and does that make sense? Should we keep things this way? Should things be adjusted? So I wish I could say I have a lot of, action plans, and I will. But right now, the action plan is learn as much as I can.
I think it's wonderful that you're doing a kind of check in, what do we have, and, is it working or not? I think that's really important to do. I'm not aware, since I've been on COA, that was in recent, since I've been here, that was ever done, let alone on a regular basis.
I'm excited that you all are doing. That's great. That had it not already have been, getting ready to go, that would have been. Taking that up. Planning.
Sure.
timelines that I feel like I think that's kind of our updates for now. I think we'll probably have more next month.
Anybody have any forward?
Yeah, well, I was interested to know how you, foresee, that intergenerational aspect. I think we talked about the high school before, like younger students, and, mentioned you, I wonder, you have department, public health, or?
I have somebody who just contacted that wants to do something, and he is it's related to the humanities, and I just can't think of what the field is right now. But what I'm thinking is, that it will be something where both ends are, that, I'd like to disabuse the notion that all older adults need help, and, somebody younger has to help them. Now, maybe that is true, to a certain degree, but they also have a lifetime where they could be helping other people. So finding something where where the younger people and the older people are both able.
Like the interviews, the recordings.
Yes, right.
Empower young people to take an interest. Yeah. And then, my second question, my last question is, in the, feedback that you're seeking, it sort of sounds like, are there people that come to the bank center, do you, getting information away from the senior center, like people who don't come? How to reach them?
So I don't have, feedback from them except for whatever will be in the survey, that you all. I have heard occasionally, where people don't want to come here because of dark the building or how, where it's located. I think there's a certain, I don't know a tactful way to talk about this, but there's a certain population of folks that are around the center that I think makes some people.
Okay.
And I think it sounds to me like that's an issue, for people, that they don't necessarily come from.
And they're seniors, the people who say.
I like very much this design, the other departments. The DEI, I would like to, I was thinking about them, and I was thinking, I wonder what they do with agents. Probably not one of the top areas, but it's important, because it affects people's access to services and emotional well-being. If everybody thinks of being older as, what does it mean as you're getting older? Like it influences everybody that somehow that all downhill from here, but not in a good way, not coasting, So I think.
Well, glad you heard that.
We can certainly get updated, these connections and projects get formed.
It sounds like in terms of the town's priorities, there would be a couple of other large undertakings that they would do before they would even be thinking about. That's the sense.
Yeah.
So, there's part of me that's like, well, how can we make the most of the spaces we're in? Are there grants available? Are there things that we can do to, better equipment or different lighting, and we got, at my last job, got some money for a memory cafe. And we ended up, repainting a room that was kind of like, it's got a drab, blue is a relaxing, so we put, and it's a color where people trust you, if you're wearing blue. So we repainted there's ways to make some changes. We won't be able to building, but be able to use up some of the spaces a little bit.
I think there's one creative thing that could be considered,
Yeah.
going forward.
One of the things that, when my husband and I went back to Purdue to be on the faculty, I had done my graduate work there, and the building was still, I called it clear with beige. I mean, it was just horrid, and it, I actually thought back to what they did in the stairwell of the library tower. They had these murals, and so we ended up having among engineering students do artwork about what industrial engineering. And you talk about that idea of aging, it just made me think, you're talking about what does it mean to age? We have a lot of people who are very gifted artists in this community, but we also have people who aren't. And so you could even have two classes, but you could have some kind of a friendly competition where people could create artwork about what it is that means to them to be getting older. And then they could be hung up and it would be a little bright and cheery spot. You could have a big tea or some coffee or something to celebrate it. Because I think there's things you could do to get. The other thing is maybe not being constrained to the bank center. There are lots of churches in the area that might be willing. At one time when I lived here before, they used to have an exercise house in the community room of the Catholic Church. I don't, which is the one that's there by Brugger's. Yeah, in their community. I mean, I think maybe reaching out to some of the churches in the area and saying, can we collaborate on something? We use your space and it's a little brighter and a better place to have things. And I think there's the ability to do that in this community that hasn't been done yet. And that's a smart way to, not use your budget, and take advantage of, and also they can, right. And churches are pretty much only used on Saturday, or, I mean, there's a lot of, as an industrial engineer, there's a lot of opportunity there, you use a space that's just sitting there. So, yeah, I mean, those are some things I have. And I also think UMass is on tap. So, I'm not gonna let that, and there's two other colleges. Yeah, too, right? So, and I've talked to you about this several times, that Purdue has this really fantastic, the H&K department has opened a gym where their students, it was their lab, but it was designed for seniors. They even got a silver sneaker designation, so that people could, and it would be cheap. So I know the guy who started it, so if it was something that H&K, that Helping Kinesiology folks here were interested in doing in conjunction, that would be a great service, because there's really not a good place to go to the gym as a senior that you don't have to listen to the, the steroid crumping and that kind, I mean, there's not a place that's designed with seniors in mind, and it was a great, and they get to interact with the intergeneration. That was really fun. It also sounds like we have a room full of equipment, that would be nice to take out of storage. And if I'm remembering correctly, and correct me if I'm wrong, when the tablets were down, that space might be the exercise room, or no?
Well, my understanding is it will revert back.
Okay.
And how you choose to use it.
But one possibility could be.
Dance classes easy,
Okay.
as well as other things. I think heavily utilized.
But I hear what you're saying. Now, everything doesn't have to be on site, It's a great way to also kind of
Reach people who don't want to go to them. So I'm going to move us to the senior survey. So happy to report, we had our soft launch last month at the block party. We gave out the chops and people scanned them, and overnight we got like 30, something like that, which is exciting. And we've been
pushing the survey, so, tell you what I think we've done so far, and if I forgot something, please jump in. So we handed copies out, we have them at, senior services along with printed copies of the survey.
It's been quite popular. I've had to enter probably 20, 25.
Awesome. A press release was done by the town, and that went out to local media outlets. The Amherst Indy picked it up, and they published, an article. Although sad to say, we were on the top row the first night it got released. But then Jennifer, your article has bumped up 3 times.
I didn't write it.
No, you didn't write it, but you had commented in your town meeting and that. So we're guessing that
Something
they,
controversial always trouble.
when it's, how many clicks you get is whether or not you stay up there with what we were guessing. So feel free to go to the Indy and click on our article so we can, I keep doing it every day.
Okay, but in her defense, she just, so,
No,
does the survey
no,
make up
no,
for
no,
the,
no.
but we didn't even know you did.
No, that wasn't what I was,
I understand, I was
Yeah, no,
just saying she was trying.
Yesterday, Pam Rooney and I sent it to over 500.
yeah.
Do you still have
It-
copies of the little players?
Yep.
Check the front desk at the senior center.
I put some up on.
You can grab a whole stack. Feel free to grab like 20 at a time.
I haven't heard this word chops.
This
I know
is-
exactly what you're
This
talking
is
about.
all Gene. I'd never heard the word before either.
That's what I used to work on campus with students.
Okay.
Shop, I don't know. What else do you call it? Small piece of paper?
Yeah, pretty much. You know, those little pieces of, those colorful little pieces of, probably what I would
I can use one word instead of 5, I'm on it.
Go for it.
yeah.
So we also did, the Royal We Meet, emailed town councilors. I didn't do everybody, if they weren't running for reelection or they're an at-large, I didn't go to them. I think that's the precinct. And Jennifer was very efficient, as was, George Ryan, who's my precinct, so,
George keeps getting called out in the survey for being a source of information too.
yeah, that's great. We, got a connection, we know a resident who lives at Greenleaf, and they have an internal email, so I fed the information to her, and she shot it out.
Wow.
I got the information out to Amherst neighbors, they have a large listserv.
And that went out, and I heard it as another. Oh, it just came in the neighbors, and so then that, got forwarded to the president and to the sponsor. But I mean, so it's
We're trying, so, I live in Orchard Valley, we have a neighborhood listserv, and the woman who controls that, she sends a message out, so, some people in my precinct have gotten it like 4 times. It's fun. I also sent it to Phyllis Lair. If you don't know Phyllis yet, she writes a very popular column, with all the critical news in town.
Okay.
Even the garden update. So hopefully it will be appearing, this week. I still have to, on my list, and I invite you to, brainstorm here with me, I'm gonna email former COA members, of which there are a half dozen, isn't like a million, but go after our people. Mindy, Dawn told me that she would send it out. Are you aware of any other neighborhood listservs or any other?
The other one that I thought of, you might reach out to, I'm not involved with them anymore, is Learning and Retirement. Through the 5 colleges, it's called 5 College Learning and Retirement. They have a huge number of senior classes.
Do you know who?
If you Google 5 College Learning and Retirement, there'll be somebody that you could contact and just ask if they'd be willing to send it to their listeners.
Okay.
And if you don't hear back, reach out to me and I don't really know, I haven't done it in but I would try that, they have a staff.
Okay.
Learning in or learning and?
Learning in Retirement, LIR.
SDLIR at 5colleges.edu.
There you go, that's the one.
So I'm gonna be honest with all of you, I've been working hard on this, I am getting ready to leave the country. I don't know how much more I can do before I depart, so I.
Coming back though, right?
Yeah, rumor has it,
When are you leaving?
Friday.
Ah,
So I would welcome any assistance with getting the word out.
Gene?
Yes,
Yeah, I just wanted to let you know, we're gonna be uploading it, that press release to the Amherst Woods, listserv, which is close to 200 homes, whatever, so that'll
Oh,
be going out this weekend.
excellent, thank you. I've also reached out to somebody who used to be heavily involved in the senior center, who lives, it's not Applewood, but it's the Upper Orchard, is that what they call it? To see, I haven't heard back from her, if they have an internal listserv, again, if I can feed her the info and she can shoot it out. Because that's a community that is, that there are people and they care. So I think they would complete that survey.
How about people like Jim McGovern? You access his listserv, and it's too
Yeah.
wide. It's too wide. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Right, at least Mindy's like this community, part of another community.
right. So I also, had on my list to email the library to see if we could, if they would be willing to have some printed surveys. I was just like, here it is. Where do we all go? Library's one place. The other thing that is in the works, and I'm sorry that it's not done yet, I was hoping it would be printed, but, we're doing a postcard, but I need you to listen to what I'm going to say very carefully. We're printing a postcard that's going to get mailed to some people. It's not going to get mailed to all seniors. So we've been very intentional about not talking about the postcards in any of our press releases. I do not want people thinking you're going to get a postcard and you don't get one because your phone is going to be ringing off the hook. Okay. So it was, we ran numbers and we're doing the postcard. It's going out, hopefully soon. This is it looks like this on one side. And then it's a nice bright green glossy on the other side. And so the way it works is called EDDM. It's going to go to postal routes that have more than 60% of their customers are 50 or older. You'll get it. I did ask for extra copies of the postcard to be printed. I hope that they would call me and I could pick them up so I could give you guys some, but I haven't gotten the call yet. So if I get it before Friday, I will get them to the senior center. And again, also go out to the town hall, the library, and if you think of any other places, potentially the chamber, I don't know where else, but trying to kind of put this in front of people in as many different ways as we can. I don't know, there was some talk about a flyer, I don't know. So, any other ideas?
I just sent you a link to the UMass Retired Faculty Association, and there was an email at the bottom of the page. I just texted it. And I would just send them a link and say, we're trying to do this. And with these, I would even say, if it's possible, could you just forward this to your distribution? You don't even, wait for a yes. I just say,
Yep.
we're sending this out, here it is. We'd be grateful if you, and then that way, even they, that should just.
Yep. Awesome.
You done League of Women Voters? That's a somewhat heavily senior-related students that are also very politically active and probably have a lot of.
Yeah, some of the people I've already reached out to are on the lead. When I tried to lead at the block party, I approached them about leaving chops at their table, and they wouldn't let me.
Okay.
It's got to be sponsored by the league or co-sponsored by the league in order for them to sanction it, which I get, I respect, so.
Yeah.
But yes, they're politically active. Is anybody in the women's club? Women,
I can get,
yeah. Okay.
yeah. That's a big, actually exceeds old, definitely.
Yeah.
Our demographic.
Yeah.
I should have to do that.
Oh, awesome, thank you. Any others?
You send email to us, I'm thinking people that I might just send it to.
Yeah.
You know, because if it comes from a person,
Yeah.
if you know, sometimes that gives you a little bit more of a.
Yeah, yep, absolutely, yeah, it's hard to ignore. Yeah.
Oh, did you get my email?
Yeah. But I am hoping we're creating a little bit of a buzz and that people are, you perchance know how many people have completed?
I do.
Or
Right now, we have 187.
87?
Last time they had like 300.
So right now, we have had 175 in the 21 days block party at 0.3 a day. If you project the same rate over the next 38 days, which is up to the November 15th deadline, we will end up with 501.
And basically, you'll, the mail goes out.
We're hoping
there'll
to
be a
do-
bump.
yeah.
With these emails go out to some of these bigger groups, you'll see a little bump. I mean, so that'll help it.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping to get a strong. Yeah. All right. Well, if you do think of any other ideas, let me know. I will email the information out to all of you so you can pick it out to people. Yeah, hopefully get people. And I will just say I've given it, all my friends are tired of hearing about it. I had my book club the other night, and a couple of them don't live in Amherst, but I still urge them to complete it because there's a lot of people who don't go to the senior center in their town for a variety of reasons. And so I think it's going to be valuable seeing what out-of-town folks say. And then I had a couple of friends who have never been there, and I said, I still want you to complete it, but why aren't you going? So, again, I think, so the bottom line here is encourage, if you have any friends who are over 50, to complete it, regardless if they're a regular there or not. I think that's all the reason going forward.
We do have 12 respondents.
I'll link links.
There you go.
All right. Something that came up recently is our meeting time, and obviously we had to switch our original time, but, the last meeting had moved it to 4, and then there was a request to have before 4, so we can be within working hours for senior services staff. So I'm wondering if we could look at the time, maybe stick with a Wednesday or a Thursday, and if we did maybe a 2:30 or 3 o'clock, if that would work for folks.
On Wednesday, third Wednesday.
Okay.
I would like to.
So is there a preference for Wednesday versus?
Wednesday, the yeah, the second and fourth Thursdays.
Wednesday. Wednesday is good, okay. How is Wednesday okay with you first?
At this time, it's okay.
Okay. So Wednesday at 1, is that good for folks?
I guess I had asked, doing it in the middle. That's early.
Wednesday, would Wednesday 3 work for folks, or?
Not for me. I'm at the same center dancing.
Wednesday at 3?
Wednesday, 15.
Wednesday at 1 is fine.
Okay. So 1 works okay for everybody? Okay. Are you guys good for Wednesday at 1?
Which Wednesday?
Works for me.
Yeah,
Okay, okay,
I'm okay with it as well.
okay.
I have another.
So Friends is on Wednesday, Dennis, right? Is that the
Yeah.
third Wednesday?
I believe so, yeah, it usually is. Hang on a second, let me just check. We've got,
Yeah, it's 2:30, third Wednesday.
Okay, so if we went
Yeah.
the first Wednesday? Right, is that what, or is that when you have the conflict, sorry?
I can do first or second.
Yep.
Wednesday. I just need it to be at 1.
If it's the second. Okay, if we do the first one, we can go at 1. Is that,
I guess I just didn't do all mine. If we could do the second Wednesday at 1:30, that would be, I would like that. That's possible.
so,
We rushed home to eat and then had to come back.
yeah, okay. So if we did the second Wednesday, Friends is then the third Wednesday, right? I just want to make sure we're not. Right, you said third, okay, okay. So the second Wednesday in November is the 12th
that's right.
at 1:30. At 1:30.
At 1:30,
Got no spot for me.
and do we have a location that we prefer?
No, unfortunately, both 101 and Glassroom were taken at that time.
Okay,
Okay,
can we meet someplace else?
all right.
Maybe Town Hall will open up by then. Because it sounds like the stuff today anyway was pretty one time.
Okay, so Dave, Wednesday, November 12th at 1:30, and I'll be back in touch with a location. Yeah. Yeah, so yes, we would go the second Wednesday
So it's at 1:30?
at 1:30. And I will double check that we don't have any other holidays. I think we're gonna be good. Okay, thank you. Did you all get a chance to review the minutes for September? Does anybody have any questions or corrections?
Not me.
I'm good.
I move we accept the minutes as they are.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Is are accepted. All right. Do not have any other topics that I didn't anticipate, but do you want to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Next meeting will
thank
be,
you all. See you next month, and Lisa, you successfully survived your first COA meeting. Now the pressure's on.
thank you, Lisa. You're doing great.
where you walk to.
London,